shoes, world on my shoulders, heart full of blues out in the dirt, down in the dirt.
This live stream is brought to us by Wandering Gypsy Vanner, a channel that you really need to check out. They do a lot of shorts and some really good ones too. So if you're not doing anything, go check them out. You'll like them.
Hey, good morning. Howdy on this Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Howdy. Hope you all having a great day. I am so far. Got up a little late. Almost forgot about the live stream. Daily Dose of the Bible. KJV Kenneth Oaks. Howdy, buddy. How you doing? Tammy DeWitt. Howdy, Jan. I just missed you guys, or you last night on Ron's live stream. How you doing, Tammy? Howdy. Doreen Olson. Howdy. Morning, afternoon, all sunny. 74 there. You're warmer than us. First member up in here, Jolly Matilda. Howdy. Manic Rat Pack. Howdy. I just seen you calling right when I started this. Who else is in here? Desert Adventures in Arizona, another member. Howdy. Hawkins Family Adventures. Howdy. Justin. I'll put your names together. I had an aunt named Justine. Justin and Christina's RV Van Life. Howdy. Cruising is fun anytime. Howdy. And I see our view. The neighbors right up the rocks here. Howdy. Catherine Cook. Howdy. Tell everyone over there I said howdy. Hope Homer's foot's doing much better. So what's everybody up to today? Yes, still in Quartzsite, as most of you know. Happy birthday, Catherine Cook. Happy birthday. I'll show you why we're still here. As soon as I find it. It's moved again. Well, I moved it. Right here. Look at this. May 2nd, 10 o'clock in the morning. Here. It's 71 degrees. I had to turn the fans off last night. Kept the windows open. No, stay over there, Luke. Stay. But yeah, had to turn fans off last night because it got a little chilly in this rig. I did run the AC most of the day for the dogs. Mainly, Lulu was really playing the part. Like, come on, Dad, turn it on. But I had laundry to do, so I had to run a washing machine. It would have ran on solar, but did that. A few other things in here, so I just let it run. But here are the forecast temperatures. This is the reason why we're still sitting here. Whole idea was to chase 70s, so to speak, 80s, and mainly to keep Becky breathing, which she's got appointments today, so she probably won't be here today. But here is the upcoming forecast. 84 tomorrow, 83 on Wednesday, 75 on Thursday, 79 on Friday. This is crazy. But look at that. Lows in the 50s. You just can't ask for anything better. And then even it continues on Saturday, 83, Sunday, 88, Monday, 88, Tuesday, 89, Wednesday, 92, Thursday, 92. Just hard to believe these temperatures this time of year out here. So we're going to take advantage of it. Okay, where did I leave off here? There's 27 comments popping. Over to Hill RV, I see you in there. Howdy, howdy, howdy. And Hawkins Family Adventures got a live after this. AA meeting. Let's see. Excuse me. I'm kind of got a little allergy thing going on. If I missed anybody, I don't mean to, because this chat, while I was doing them things, 27 comments come in. It said, so let me get caught up here on chat. And I believe I'm just about there. Well, everybody's wishing Catherine a happy birthday. Yeah, you have a blessed and happy, wonderful birthday today. 54, where Justin and Christina's at. It is perfect, Dolly. It is. It's cold where Hawkins is at. Miss Aaliyah, howdy, howdy. 83, there's sun piling up on the front porch. It's a piling up here, too. And I don't either, Catherine Cook. You know why? Ain't nothing golden about the golden years. It's supposed to be golden. What's so golden about them? Pain and pills. Shovels on their commercial. There's Rashaya. Howdy, howdy. I think it is. We did have a lot of dust in the area yesterday. I didn't get my third coat on because it was pretty windy yesterday and pretty dusty. Didn't want to get blowed off the roof. Why does chat jump like that? You get almost to the bottom and the last day in the 60s there. That's true, nomadic rat pack. But yeah, if those temperatures stay like that all season, we're going to be hanging around here all season. At least till Becky gets back. Then maybe head on over to Marana or something. I don't know. I keep looking outside because there's a bush over there that moves and it catches my attention like squirrel. Instead it's bush. I gotta look into Flagstaff. They issued some very heavy camping restrictions up there today. They came out today. No camping or campfires within 10 miles of Flagstaff. I think that knocked Lake Mary completely off and possibly Walnut Canyon completely out of the picture. If that happened, Walnut Canyon is one of the most prettiest places we camped at. Lake Mary was too. There is a bunch of people getting ready to file lawsuits against the National Forest over this. I personally don't think they have the right to do this. I mean, we do have the right to assemble on public lands, but there's also a safety aspect of it too. So I'm like on the fence on it. There's still plenty of camping areas up there, but I think it knocked Schultz Road out too, and that was one area that I really wanted to get into this season. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. But they issued a map. On this map, it looks like Walnut Canyon's completely out. Belmont's still in because Belmont was 20 miles down the road. But the thing with Belmont is they're surrounding Belmont with building. The camping part, I disagree with. the 10-mile camping night. Campfires, I could agree with that. We've done 2 seasons up there during burn bans. It's no big deal. Uh, but I would have done the no campfire within 10 miles of Flagstaff. Now, Flagstaff, that last year, I forget what the pipeline fire was it called, where it was started by the toilet paper. That almost got into the city of Flagstaff. So I don't blame them for wanting a burn ban up there. You're sitting in the middle of a tinderbox. Part of the reason that it is a tinderbox is it falls back on the National Forest Service. But then again, does it fall on them or does it fall on the government not giving them, there's a fly in here, not giving them enough funding to maintain our forests? You know, they quit getting the old growth out. And when a forest fire starts, so much damage is caused because of it. You go in there and you trim up them dead. I pointed this out to Scott when we were at Lake Mary. Lake Mary is a tinderbox right now. They used to go in and trim all the dead stuff off the bottom of the trees because the bottom of a pine tree doesn't get sunlight and they die off. They would go in there and they would trim all that up. If a fire starts, has no way to get up, has less chance of getting up into the trees. And then once you get what do they call that? Oh, where it's in the tops of the trees. Once a fire gets into the top of the trees, they've lost it. It's going to do what it wants to do until it's done. A canopy fire, I think is what they call that. Ground fires are easier to put out. Going Green Mom, howdy. Metal Mike and Bus called Badass, howdy. God, I can't wait till we get one to name it. But that's a big issue up there. And you talk to the forest people up there, and that is the first thing they say. We don't have the funding to do this. They won't give us the funding to do this. We'll send a bunch of it overseas, but not maintain our land. After that, then I don't care what they do with the money. Here first. I don't mean to get political, but it just seemed like the right thing to do. Take care of your stuff first. But it's what they're doing everywhere. They don't want people hurt. Yeah, like I said, I'm on the fence with it. I'd have been happy with the no campfires within 10 miles. I would have been happy with that. We've done it. But as far as no camping, I mean, you're taking away the people's basically right to use it. They kind of do control burns here. They do control burns up there, but they quit doing that for a while. But really, they need to go in there and trim that dead stuff up, and then go in there and start burning like they do. And then the controlled burns, sometimes those go bad. Look at the one in New Mexico. The guy that ran that, as far as I'm concerned, should be behind bars right now. All the weather people warned the guy in charge over there in New Mexico. What was that called? We were there. The Castle Rock fire or something like that. He was warned not to do that fire because winds were going to pick up during that fire. Well, he let his ego get in the way because he was in charge and said, oh, no, we'll have it under control. Well, you see what happened there. It turned into New Mexico's largest forest fire in the state's history. And it's cost that state and the federal government a lot of money for the property damage that has been caused. Available Life Exploring with Mariah. Howdy, Mariah. And yeah, Hawkins, you touched on something right there. Blame people who don't listen and risk to make it bad for the people who do. That's another thing that the forest people brought up. The Forest Service, they don't have the funding to patrol it. If they had the people out there driving around 24/7 patrolling it like we do police officers in the forest, they could catch forest fires. You can't put a forest fire out right away. And not only that, they carry their temperature guns with them because one pulled one out on me here at Quartzsite in the LTVA, actually, when it was under a burn ban 2 years ago. We had a propane fire. He went to the wood fire pit. Of course, it was cold. But it's funding. It all boils down to lack of our government funding our forest, our BLM lands, our people in charge of taking care of these areas. That's what it boils down to. They don't have the funding to do it. And that comes from the top. The problem is that a lot of forests are managed by concessions. Yeah, and then there's that. There's that too. Yep. There is a lot of that going on too, and I don't agree with that either. I mean, you put people out there patrolling the forest, you've created jobs, you've created a safe environment. It's just too easy. Had people burning outside the campground and no water to put fire. Yeah, and that's another that when I have a fire going, you can ask everybody. When I got a fire going, I got water around. I back Bobby right up to the fire pit. Or I got a long enough hose to reach over to the fire pit, and I've got that sprayer hanging there. Granted, we're in the desert, less chance. But I did it up there at in the forest. I had Bobby sitting right there, ready to go. 40 gallons of water on a thing to spray. Though the pump I had in Bobby before it would put a fire out, a small one, but the one that's in there now, I could fight a fire with that one. Or we'd keep our bug sprayers by the fire ring, and we would spray the fire out at the end of the night, or something get out of the fire ring, you stomp on it or hit it with that bug sprayer. Even at home, I always had 5-gallon buckets sitting around with water in it, and the hose ran over to it. But it's the bad people that make it bad for the good people. But then again, it boils back down to the lack of funding. I mean, I'm upset about it, but then again, I see it too. I see that side of it, you know. But I wouldn't have took away the camping though. And basically, what the city of Flagstaff is really trying to drive their homeless people out of the city. And they got the National Forest Service on board with them now. But I just, like I said, I'm on the fence. Don't really agree with it, but then I do agree with it. It's just, it's different. Like I said, I see both sides of it, and you know, there should have been a compromise, and it should have been okay. No campfires. Y'all can camp here all you want. There's no campfires. Just use a propane with a valve. You know, you're running a propane fire pit with a valve, you're legal. But I mean, it's a pretty big area that's around, and a lot of these towns in Arizona, like here in Quartzsite. I don't know if every town is like that, but back home in Indiana, a town has jurisdiction within 2 miles of its city limits, and they'll post a sign. Knox city limits, Knox, Indiana city limits. Out here in this vast land of nothing, you'll see a Quartzsite city limit sign 10 miles before you get to Quartzsite. And it's like that in every town that we've come across out here. Yeah, Forest Service employees didn't even have housing. A lot of them were sleeping in their cars and tents. We need to bring the CCC back. That's what we need to do. And you see there, I think it was CCC. I think I'm calling that right. CCC. Was it FDR that put that into place? And we got a lot of our picnic shelters and rocks and roads, and a lot of our parks were built with those. And you see their residences, old residences that are now being used for storage or just abandoned in these parks. And they did a really good job with that. I think we need to bring it back. Is that everywhere that they have 2 mile? In Indiana, far as I know, it is. Out here, it's 10 miles. But look what that did. That created thousands of jobs, you know. And I think they need to bring it back because right now all we got is people running around in trucks, just driving around. If they see something, which is okay, but we don't have enough of those, and we need more of those. But it's just too easy to say, hey, let's send this money overseas. Oh, wait a minute, our national forest needs something. Let's put this money over here in the national forest. And if we got anything left, guys, we'll send you over. That's how it should be. But no, it's not, and that aggravates me. Because man, we got some beautiful forests. Coconino is one of the most beautiful forests we have. Kaibob's a beautiful forest. What's another one we've been into? Is it Prescott down there? There's another one south. All three of them put together. They're all beautiful forests. Hoosier National Forest is a beautiful forest. I'm trying to think of the national forests we've been into, but every one of them has been beautiful. I mean, but you're starting to see more trash in them, and it's no funding. I agree, Johnny. I agree, but it just aggravates me and it's not the employees out here neglecting it. They're doing the best they can with what they have to work with, but it boils down to our government neglect. We need somebody in that building that was a nature person, like was it Roosevelt? He got our national park started. I think it was Roosevelt. Theodore. We need people like that in charge. That's what we need. I don't know about the rest of his policies, but the policies of our parks and stuff for families and that to enjoy here, that's what we need. Like we had a governor in Indiana, Daniels. He was a state parks person. He put a lot of money in our state parks and our highways. That was his two main focuses. The rest of the stuff I really didn't care follow, but my main thing was our state parks, and he was the one that I think came up with the environmental plate that you could buy, and went most $40 of it went to our state parks, and our state parks got some drastic improvements. Indiana Beach was one of the Indiana. That's a place in Indiana we used to go to, but yeah, Teddy. I thought it was. But Indiana Dunes State Park up there got millions of dollars for improvement through them plates, and they did a really good job. And he threw a lot of money at our state parks. If it was broke, it got fixed, and if it needed it, it got built. Indiana Dunes State Park got a observation tower deck, a new entrance. All new paving, a new campground. They just moved over from the other campground, tore the other one down. Half the stuff in it didn't work anyway. But that's a beautiful park now. Beautiful park. It is. We do it when we can. And the reason I say when we can is sometimes we don't have to wait. We got a car, but we've been to some pretty clean areas now since we've had Bobby. But Scott was always the first one out there to grab garbage. I mean, that was one of his. I think it was his pet peeve worse than mine. But the problem is, you get up in the Flagstaff area, nowhere really to take garbage, so you got to do little at a time. You pull into Walmart and you grab all you keep it in Walmart bags, your garbage, so you can get out and throw it in a Walmart garbage can in the parking lot. There goes my internet signal. Must be swapping satellites. But if you go picking up a garbage in the forest and you get a big bunch of it, it's really hard to get rid of. You kind of got to wait for a ranger to drive by and say, hey, where can I take this? And then you know what they tell you? Take it to the ranger station. That's 40, 50 miles away. why can't I put it in the back of your Ranger truck and you take it to the Ranger station? You're going there. It's quite obvious. But what we'll do, we can pick up something, and there's a dumpster at a speedway up there that we can use. And a lot of times it's 3/4 or if not full when you get there. So you're hauling around other people's trash without a known possibility that you're going to get rid of it, because you can get into Flagstaff and not be able to get rid of your trash. Say the dumpster's full, the garbage cans are full. You got to take your trash back with you then, back to your camp. Here it's that way everywhere, but these people packing in. But okay, that one campsite that we were at, actually the last two campsites, not the last two, the first two campsites we were at in Flagstaff, Walnut Canyon. Me and Scott left there. Scott cleaned that campground up. Wasn't a lot there. Little. Some sickening stuff. And that's another thing. I got a very weak stomach. I can handle the sickening stuff. Scott took care of that. We had that campsite all nice and looking. Scott did, not we. I can't say we. Scott did that. We left there. Somebody had came in there after we had left. Within a week, they left. One of our friends, Stella RV Adventures, pulled into that campsite. Next thing you know, she's released a video of all the trash in this campsite. It was our campsite that Scott had cleaned up. It was 10 times worse than what it was when he cleaned it up within a week. So then we get over to, actually we went to Lake Mary first. After that, Lake Mary, we don't know what happened to that campsite. But when we got into Belmont, that first campsite that we were on in Belmont back in the woods, Desert Adventures in Arizona met us up there too. That campsite was clean, real clean. One of the reasons why we picked it. Well, then Scott left. Desert Adventures in Arizona. And in the meantime, Stella RV Adventures, Vans and Travels camped with me. Desert Adventures in Arizona showed up. We moved up to a better site for Starling. You guys seen that site? Beautiful, up by the mountain. Beautiful site. Probably one of my favorites. About a week after we had left that site, maybe it was 2 weeks, I drove by there, heading to the gas station, and there was a camp set up there, and they had 5 or 6 tents, a couple campers, had a big old party going on. They left. They left all their water jugs, their beer cans, their party trash, their couple camping stuff like sleeping bags and some torn tents, and they left all that. I went to the gas station and come back by. Now, there was no way we could do anything with that. No way at all. Some local campers pulled in that day. They set up their camp and they cleaned all of that up. And then they took it to, I pulled in there and talked to them and thanked them for doing it. And said, I don't know. I said, I was going to call the Rangers, see if the Rangers come in here and haul this stuff out. And he goes, no, I got a dumpster at my house. He said, we're taking it all to the dumpster. He said, if people keep doing this, we're going to lose this. And I said, yeah. But that was, I know it was like 2 or 3 weeks after we had left that site. And that was over a holiday weekend. PSV Odyssey, howdy, Fierce Rambler, howdy. Anybody snuck in here, Sea Devil Adventures, howdy. If I didn't see, I get Amazon Haze Adventures, howdy. Mike's Aquatics and Things, another member, howdy. I just get on a rant about that, about our forest, our lands, and sometimes I can't shut up about it. You'll probably get your notification about now, Mike's Aquatics and Things. I didn't get Desert Adventures in Arizona until like 30 minutes into his live stream. But anyway, speaking of that, let's say thanks to the members. Let's run our thank you ad, and we'll be right back right after this short thank you ad. We'll be back.
Slow down, mama. Why you talk so mean? way down at the bar. Fiddle tunes and homemade booze, but it always goes too far. Shooting pool, crack a jack, take off now and don't look back. But hey, don't you wanna play? Hold on, sugar, why you look so...
Ford man comes in here kicking that door in the house. Howdy, howdy, Ford man. You know what I think we need to do? Get more people out here patrolling. A lot more. When you pull onto a site in the forest, out here in BLM land, wherever you're at, I think they should be able to take a picture of your plate, your name, address, whatever it is. You need to, I think you should have, how did I put that? I think they should be able to ID you when you pull on their site, so they know who is there, a picture of what it looked like when you were there. And when you leave, you tell them when you're going to leave. They should come there the day you leave to make sure it's clean. Not after you leave, but the day you leave. Because after you leave, who knows what somebody come in there and trash the site before they got here, and then you get the blame for it. Got one schoolie and one fifth wheel still here. We got, I think there's like a dozen of us still in here yet. But really, that would be the only way we could police this. But it's gonna take the manpower to do it. Yeah, just like a hotel. And even out here, we got people that in the LTVA that just, somebody will pick it up. And, and here, we got camp hosts, and we got rangers that drive. Of course, I ain't seen a ranger drive through here in a month and a half now, I think. The host even said that they're not even sure if they're going to enforce the 2-week thing here, though. We'll probably run up the road to Roadrunner anyway. We're just we're sitting here. All we got to do is throw stuff in the vehicles and move. Both vehicles are ready to go. Honey's topped off with GAT, which it's 2 miles up the road to Roadrunner. Roadrunner BLM land. But I don't know. I know when you pull in here, you got to give them your name, your plate number, and everything. And in here, in the LTVAs. And the BLMs here at Quartzsite, you got to do the same thing there, too, if they have a host. There's a lot of people that don't do that if they have a host. And you can get in serious trouble for that. We've done it because at the time, we got the permit down at Roadrunner. We did it right there. But when we got over to Scat and Wash, we didn't even know where the host was over there. We didn't know that we had drove by it and off to the side. We thought Scat and Wash was way in the back where the RTR and that was. We thought all that's Scat and Wash, but we thought that's where it was. We didn't know Scat and Wash went all the way to town. Of course, we were rookies that year, though. The Scat and Wash is one of the ones where they had the host there, but they didn't really. I mean, everybody at the Park TR, there was nobody there with permits. Hobotex, nobody there with permits. Dome Rock, I didn't see anybody with permits in their windows. Roadrunner, I did. What did I miss here? It is a shame you got to clean up after other people. Oh, question. Sorry about that, Jolly. Becky getting her nerve. Yeah. That's what. I'm glad. I couldn't remember. I knew she had appointments. I couldn't remember what it was, but that's what it was. It's the nerve thing today where they're put them needles and electrodes and everything on you. But yeah. Thanks, Steve, for answering that. This is a very passionate subject with me, our public lands, and I get sidetracked on it. I mean, y'all know how I feel about it. And we try to You try to leave it better than when you found it, and sometimes it's impossible. Not better when you found it. No trace. That's it. Leave no trace. Sometimes that's impossible to leave no trace. We do leave footprints. um, but other than that, Boucher Street, howdy, howdy. Hitch up in tow. Good evening to you over there. Howdy, howdy, howdy. But it's just aggravating. It is. And you see more and more of it every year. That area that me and Scott come across, I should have put a video on that. Now that was not nomadic garbage there. That was local. That was more than likely a break-in, and all the stuff got dumped up there. I mean, there was a electric, one of those drifting foam-wheeled go-karts, one of them there. Brand new stuff that had labels and stuff on it, and just all piled up. And it was a huge area of it. And you can usually tell nomadic garbage from local garbage. When you start coming across building materials, 9 out of 10 times, that is local garbage. If it's slight building material, that could be nomadic. But when you come across a whole room of drywall and wallpaper, this happened at Snyder Hill in Tucson. A dude pulled right up on the road, dumped all his drywall from his house, and took off before they could get him. Full time, I went to get a permit when we were at Saturday night home meetup, and they said because we had LTVA sticker, we didn't need a permit. Hey, that's good to know. I didn't know that, but that is good to know. But you know how to be a permit here. So sometimes that's on the Rangers and too though, because sometimes they go where they enforce the permits, and then they go without enforcing them, and then people get into that. Oh, okay, we don't need that permit, and then they come through and they start enforcing them again. You need to be kind of constant or consistent. Becky's back home in Indiana getting doctor stuff done. Her back looked at. Her insurance only pays for stuff in Indiana right now. Mine doesn't. I can go anywhere. We thought it would be better not to put miles on Honey going back to Indiana with the gas prices too. There's nothing wrong with Honey. We'd get over there, and then like we were doing it before. By the time we get over there, and she wouldn't have made her doctor's appointments in time. I told her, I said, I'll start working back east if you want me to. And she said, no, stay right there. She said, I'm coming back out there. It's not that we couldn't afford to get over there. I can't afford to jump in Honey and drive straight there. That's going to be like couple grand in gas right now. But I mean, I can do it to every 2-week thing or once a week thing, but we just thought it'd be better. And if we didn't have the dogs, I'd be over there right now, but it's easier on the dogs. It's no big deal. She'll be a month, 2, maybe 3. It could be a year, I told her, but if it's going to be a year, she'll be flying back and forth though. But we're out here with friends. And in the end, it's going to be well worth it. It was a terrible shape. We're trying to keep iron. Yeah, man, Ironwood is a dumping ground. Or not, wrong. Forget I said that. Go back, erase that. Snyder Hill is a dumping ground. Ironwood is not. That's one of my other favorite places to camp in Arizona. It's just, it's the vegetation there is just, it's hard to describe. It is. It's hard to describe. It's in the lead shock in their legs. That's got to be painful. It's not really painful. It feels weird. Like, I don't know. It just feels weird because they did it with me. If I missed anybody in here, I am so sorry today. I don't know. That news came out of Flagstaff today, and it kind of got me down in a way. And it's just something, I don't know. It just Man, take the trash home, folks. Yeah. It is. I see. I must have had nerve damage where I didn't really. I could see my stuff moving and that, but it was my legs. They didn't do nothing to my arms. I keep looking at my fingers and everything, but no, it was my legs because my legs would quit working. But yeah, when she gets done, she her back surgery has shifted on her, and that's causing her, excuse me, some major issues. She had to see her pulmonary doctor for her asthma again and her allergies, and that's about it, really. And a few other things she's got to do over there, and then she'll be back. And then when she gets back, things will be a lot better. Fingers crossed. Then we'll hopefully do pretty good without Becky's supervision. It's hard. Let me tell you, it's hard. But when she gets back, fingers crossed, we can start the schoolie shopping. One of the other reasons why I'm kind of hanging around Arizona because I've been looking, and Phoenix is right there, the dealer that we want to go to too. That was part of the reason why she went back to Indiana and I stayed here too, is we really couldn't see taking honey all the way back to Indiana, then turn around and coming back out here just to get a schoolie in the rig. So there was quite a few factors for, we're a couple that we can't stand being away from each other, but yet we know in the end it's for the good. We've come across couples. We have couples in her family, especially because her family's huge up there, that the couples have never slept apart from each other, not even in a hospital, until they get older and they end up in a hospital or something. We can't say we've done that. But it's having friends with you during this really helps. Because it was getting kind of lonesome up there in the forest when I was by myself. And then Stella's RV Adventures showed up, camped with me for a little bit, and Vanessa showed up, Van and Travels, and then Desert Adventures in Arizona. Well, Becky was Becky back then? No, was she? Wait, when did Becky come back? Yeah, she was back at that site, but I don't remember she was back when you guys were there. Oh yeah, she was, because we moved. Yeah. Short memory. No man's will not have a greater respect for it. We do. Of course, you got your ones that don't, but we do. Giant causeway and iron. Ooh. Like my hubble too. Yeah. My family didn't do a lot of traveling when I was a kid. The farthest we went was Alabama to visit family. Our vacation was Indiana Beach. They brought that up again. That's why. Chicago to the Science and Industry Museum. That was it. We didn't do no camping. When we got introduced to it, and I always knew traveling as a kid too that I like traveling. I just didn't know it really at the time that I was going to lead into it. And check out today. Hey, I had a doctor recommend me drink a beer a day because of my headaches, and he was right. If I drink a beer a day, my blood was thinner and I didn't get the headaches. But I even quit doing that. But I forgot what I was saying. You live in a national, you're full timer. Well, technically, Steve, your house can be moved. I mean, they do jack them up and put them on wheels and move. So we could say you could do that. We'll give you a waiver. Oh, what do we got here? For about 14 more minutes, because Hawkins Family Adventure is going live right after us. Man, I do want to go to Ireland. I'd love to visit Ireland, Scotland, and Norway. Detach. Hey, they jacked my buddy's house up and moved it quarter-mile down the road back in the 50s. There's an old store. Nice brick house, though. Got where the roof comes up from each wall and meets in the middle, and the chimney's in the middle of it. Big house, all brick. Well, when they made Highway 30 a 4-lane highway, it was setting right where the other lanes were going to be, so they jacked it up. They leveled all the ground out all the way to where they were going to put the house. They made the hill that our house was built up on 2 years after they moved this thing, or something like that. A year or something like that. They built our house up on this hill. Well, our daughter's house now. And then moved the house down there. But yeah, it's on 23. Going Green on, you've seen it. If you went down by the Grovertown Cemetery, it's the brick house next to the cemetery. That used to set at the intersection of 23 and 30. And they moved it down there. There's a lot of history in that store. Hoagie was always the boss and still is. Once in a while, she lets me be the boss. I know that feeling. Don't tell Becky that. She might let her head get big. I let her be the boss. Nettie, hey. Mel and Nettie living free zip code list. Hopefully everybody's running their playlist. I am so sorry I forgot to turn it on last night. Damn. Oops. Excuse me. Darn it. Man, yeah. I've been running that thing. I got but yep, that will be on as soon as this live's over. Here I'm out there preaching to run the playlist that I forgot to. I had kind of an early night last night. I watched Street Racing Outlaws again last night. And I watched the replay of it because that was a special episode last night because they was getting down to the end of it. Next week, I think's the end of it. And I had knew before this season started that one of their drivers got killed on Street Outlaws. And, when it happened, it came across Google News. And now, it wasn't one of the regulars, but his name was Ryan, and a lot of people thought it was Ryan with the fireball, Ryan Martin, but it wasn't Ryan Martin. It was one of the California guys. Was it California? No. Well, they might have been California. Yeah, Trailer Park Mafia was their team member. And he was the one in the, for those of you that watch Street Outlaws, he was the one in the gold Datsun with the turbo that stuck out of the front of the grill. He what had happened was he wrecked, it flipped, it caught fire, and he couldn't get out. But they finally mentioned it last night. They didn't show the wreck or nothing. They just mentioned that they had to. They didn't even show JJ the Boss's race, and I kind of didn't agree with. It ain't Discovery that runs that show. It's the production company, and they sell it to Discovery. But how they use that, I didn't kind of agree with that. They JJ the Boss was getting ready to race somebody else. And it showed them lining up to the lines, and then the screen went blank. And it went into the next hour, and it said that they had to halt production because one of the street racers was killed during an accident, lost his life. Well, it kind of made it look like it was either JJ or that other guy. You know, and JJ's one of the main guys. I don't forget who he was racing, but he's one of the main stars of the Street Outlaws. So they didn't even show JJ's race. They just went right into this. One of them, you know, somebody got killed. So it made it sound like JJ or the other guy got killed. And they started when they after they talked about it, said they took 4 months off, went at a different spot, continued because they're racing for $250,000. They went to a different spot in California, resumed the race 4 months later. Where they kept saying Ryan. Ryan Martin's one of Street Outlaws' biggest stars in the Fireball. You know, he's basically replaced Chief in a roundabout way. Sean replaced Chief as far as running it, but then it finally, the other drivers were mentioning the guy's name where people knew that it wasn't him. But then they got to the end of the show and they put his picture up and his name and his years and everything and dedicated the episode with him. I was glad they did that, but they should have let people know right away that it was not JJ the Boss or the guy he was racing, and it was not Ryan Martin. But they played it along. It was more like playing it for drama, and that kind of aggravated me. But it really, I was as the season went on, I was getting a little more aggravated that they hadn't mentioned that even at the beginning of the season that they had lost somebody doing this. Yeah, they wanted the views. It's basically it was just like some of the people on YouTube with the, you know. But yeah, but I was finally glad that they did mention him and did a little tribute to him, but I didn't like how they played it along though. And apparently Chief has wrecked the Crow again pretty bad. He's fine, but I guess the Crow is not good. Oh. But I'm going to continue to watch it. I mean, I've watched every episode now. They've gotten it. I'm kind of confused on it in a way now, but now that I got the TV figured out, I'm all caught up on it and everything. But they, you know, it was Street Outlaws, Red Line, and then they keep adding these titles to it. If you Google Street Outlaws, there's so many titles now. It's crazy. Yeah, that's true, CRView. Man, and Prevost come across today. Oh. It's in Connecticut or New Hampshire, I think it is. This thing is beautiful. And I didn't look it over too well, but it's possibly one that I may have did some touch-up work on it. But the only thing wrong with this thing, it doesn't have reverse. That's the only thing wrong with it. And it's what I think it could be. It's a sensor. Because we had a couple coaches come in that didn't have reverse. And all it was a sensor. But the guy said make him an offer. And right now everybody's lowballing him big time. 2,500, 6,000. Yo, well, Ed, it's probably something that you could probably pick up for around 30 grand. And technically, I could go without reverse for a while if it was costly to get it fixed. I mean, I haven't had to back honey up in quite a long time, actually. Yeah, after this, you can go out. And you are a Hoosier test on line. My friend only up with 2 questions and I got 100% right. So apparently I know enough Indiana about considered a Hoosier. Here's the problem with that, Jolly. They don't even know where the Hoosier came from. They don't even know where that name came from. One of the joke going around there is, who's your daddy? Who's your? People come knock on the door. Who's here? Back in sword fights, they'd cut, or I jumped the gun on the ear thing, but it was like, who's here? They'd say it real fast. Who's there? Who's here? At the door. Somebody knocking on the door. Another possibility they said was during duels and sword fights. Somebody's ear would get cut off. They'd pick it up off the ground and say, who's here? Nobody knows where it came from. Nobody knows the true definition of Hoosier. So we don't know why we're called Hoosiers. And nobody can tell us. But it's kind of a funny story. But the biggest joke is, who's your daddy? that's really, that's what somebody says. What's it being a Hoosier? It's like, well, nobody really knows who their dad is there. So who's your daddy? What's the latest here? Yes, go check that video out. I don't remember if I pushed it or not, but I've seen it talked about on 3 lives now. Well, now 4. Go check that video out. That is one of Tim's better videos. Tim does good videos, but he did a really good job with those. And let me tell you, he was really stressing about this one. The man does great work, but he don't seem to think so. But yes, go look at that video. What's up with that Hoosier? Technically, I'm not a Hoosier. Technically. Becky's a Hoosier, but I'm not a Hoosier. Because technically, I was born in Chicago and lived the first 6 years of my life there. Then after that, it's all Indiana. Except for a short stint, I was in the Army in Oklahoma. But so I'm an adopted Hoosier, I guess. I don't know. But now I've basically divorced the Hoosier name, and now I don't know what they call Arizonians, but Arizonian, desert rat. I mean, Windy City, yeah, that's you're a wannabe Hoosier. Well, I was kind of drugged there against my will. I was 6 years old. Oh man. But I like it out here. And it's so much easier on Becky too. Well, we better go say hi to Hawkins. Let me see if she's live yet. Desert right now. I do like it though. I do like it out here. I really do. Had I been out here earlier in my life, other than as far west as I had been before I'd gotten out here with Becky, was Oklahoma City, Fort Sill. That was it. That's the farthest west I'd ever been. When we came out here, when me and Becky was married later on in life, about 5 or 6 years ago, 7 years ago maybe, we came out to Four Corners, drove that from Indiana, drove it in the dark. I didn't know what a wash was. I didn't even know they existed. And here on the way to Four Corners, I didn't know how many times, if I'd ever ran off the road, we'd have died. I mean, because they were right up to the edge of the road. And when we went back in the daylight, because we went there at nighttime to find it, then we went in the daylight, I couldn't believe all these washes that were right up to the edge of the road, and we're running 80 mile an hour on a 2-lane highway because that's the speed limit. And I thought, man, if we'd have run off the road, we'd have died. I didn't realize they were that close to the road. Let's see. Yep, she's live. Okay. Let me get that muted down. Might be slight. Oh, nope, she didn't say anything, so no slight echo. She's just putting her hair up. But Linda Barker, hey, howdy. I did. You popped in here. I didn't mean to miss you. Sorry. You have a great day, Linda. I was just thinking about you this morning because I hadn't seen you. Misfits and Dreamers, howdy. Another member. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody before we get off here. Go over and say howdy to Hawkins Family Adventures. Okay, they're getting ready to go over there. All right. So, oh, wasn't chatting. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. It's just I hadn't seen. I got thinking this morning, like, man, I've not seen Linda in any other lives. But glad you're okay. I was wondering about you. Destination Delight. Howdy, howdy, howdy. What's happening? We are about to go over to Hawkins Family Adventures and say howdy, howdy over there. So let me get the link for that. Copy, copy. And run over there. Oh, sorry about your hands. Hope you get to feeling better. Here is the link for Hawkins Family Adventure. Let's go over there and raid her. She'd greatly appreciate it. And I'm going to get me something to eat. I haven't had nothing to eat yet. So everybody have a great day. Becky should be back here tomorrow with us. But we shall see you then. And have a great Tuesday. And see you over at Hawkins. Later, everybody.
Real bad boy. I've got a ton of gravel in my shoes.